Hey guys, welcome back. Yeah, so in the previous video we talked about exception handling in C sharp. While in this video we'll be talking about debugging in C sharp. So in the previous video we talked about exception handling in C sharp. While in this video, we'll be talking about debugging in C sharp. So if you are a returning subscriber, you're welcome. But if you are a new viewer, kindly subscribe to Train Tech YouTube channel. Turn on the notification icon so that I can get notified anytime we upload new content. So let's get down into the business. So I at this point, let me just clear all this guy because we won't be using it again. So let me clear this. So just change this debugging debugging. So what is debugging? Debugging in C sharp is the process of identifying, analyzing, and resolving errors or bugs in your code. So to ensure it functions as expected. So it's just the process of you identifying and analyzing and resolving errors or bugs in your code to make sure that it functions well or it functions as you expected. So that's just the definition for debugging. So and we have different ways of debugging in C sharp. So, but the one I'll be talking about is just making use of the key debugging features in Visual Studio. So, I'll be making use of the key debugging features in Visual Studio. So, we have a debugging feature here in Visual Studio that allows you to debug your code. So, supposed not to clear this. Should have just used that as an example. Let me return all this back. I've just okay. Yeah, so I might just use this. Okay, let me just use this. Let me comment on this guy. Okay. And no reference. Let me comment on this guy. So I'll be using this as an example. So to make use of the key debugging features in C sharp, making use of the key debugging features in C sharp, we have what we call breakpoints. So breakpoints allows you to pause the execution of the code at a specific line. To inspect the program state. So making use of a breakpoint, it will allow you to, once we just run this, if I do this now, it will just run and then it will just write out the output to the console straight up. So let's just wait for it to build and run. So if you see, just write out the output to the console immediately. So making use of breakpoint and debugging in C sharp, breakpoint allows you to pause the execution of the program at a specific line to inspect the state of that particular of the particular to inspect the program state at that particular time. So to make use of breakpoints in C sharp, you have to set a breakpoint in C sharp. You can just come down to this angle. You can see it's already highlighting that you can put a breakpoint there. So you can put a breakpoint at any point or at any line in your code where you want the execution to be paused or to pause, when you want to pause the execution. So if you want to pause the execution at the point of running the try block here, you can just put the breakpoint there. But if you want to put the execution at the catch block only, where you want to catch the divide by the null reference exception, because this will give us a null reference. So if you want to catch it at the null reference exception, you can just put it here. While if you want to catch it from the beginning of the execution of the code, you can just if you want to pause the execution, from the beginning of the code, you can just put it here. So once I run this on debug mode, this will pause the execution of the program. It will pause the execution of the code, and then you can start stepping over line by line to see how your code is running, to see what your code is doing line by line. So to do that now, we have, this is just the normal can see start without debugging. But if you want to start with debugging, this is the debug start button. You can see this is the debug start button, but this will start without debugging. This is the normal start button without debugging, but this is the start button with debug mode. So once you use this guy, once you click on this guy, you can see the the execution of the program has been paused at this particular point where I set the breakpoint. So assuming this is where you set the breakpoint now, this is where the execution will be paused. But since it is the beginning of the try, so by line, so I will explain the different arrows. These arrows where that you are seeing, I will explain the function of this arrow to also. So so this step into means implementation, full implementation. Let's say you just have is just like, let's say you are making your use of the interface, and then you're only exposing the method name, and you're only exposing the method, and you want to step into the method to see the full implementation of the method. So we will still use this later. uh this is step over. So step over means go to the next line. So if I do this, it will go to the next line, because it's, normally it won't count all this commented code, because this has been commented out, so it won't run the commented code. So step over means go to the next line. Step over means go to the next line. You can see. So at this point, name is null. You can see. So if you try to access name here, you can see null, and you want to convert it to lowercase, and you want to assign the null value to access name, so it will actually give you an error. So if you go again, you can see exception. You can see object reference not set to an instance of objects. You can see system.null reference exception. Name was null. So the exception has been caught here. So has thrown the exception here. You can see exception thrown. Has thrown the exception here. Then the catch block responsible for it, you can see we catch it. So the catch block responsible for the exception will catch it. You can see if I step over, it will go to the place. You see, this has already caught the exception. Object reference is not set to an instance of a system dot null reference exception. You can see null reference exception, null reference exception. Has got it. Then it will go write this to the console. You can see null reference error, and then it will go to the finally block. You can see skip all the other catch, and then it went straight to the finally block. I told us in the previous video that the finally block will always run, even though if there is error, even though there is error, even though there is no error. If there's error or there's no error, the finally block will still run. So you can see. So that is that for that. And if you check the console, you can see. So that is that for that. So that is all for step over. Step over means go to the next line. You can see. So this allows us to see at the point, in the previous video we just said that okay, it is throwing exception and it is catching it, but this allows us to see how the exception is being thrown, and how the exception is being catched. Sorry, exception. It allows us to see how the exception is being thrown and how the exception is being catched. So you can see throw the exception here, and then the catch block catches the exception. You can see. So that is that for that. So that's all for step over. If you understand what breakpoint means, that's all for step over. Then we have step out. Step out. Step out means assuming you have stepped into the full implementation of the method, and you just want to step out back from the full implementation of the method. You can just make use of the step out. So, but I will stop this now and do. So let's say you want to set a break. You pause the execution of the code at the try block here. Let's say you just want to pause it at the catch block. So you can just put this here. Wherever you want to pause the execution is where you put the breakpoint. And you can set as many breakpoints as possible. It's not just one. You can set as many breakpoints as you like, as many breakpoints as possible. Definitely, you can set as many breakpoints as possible. Just click on it and So if you execute this code now, you see as that's throw the exception here, and then the catch has catch it. So that is that for that. Then you use step over. Step over means go to the next line, like I said before. Step over, go to the next line. So that is that for this. So let's say I have this full implementation here now. So let me just make this a static class that I'll be able to call it directly in the program class and the static method. So let me just comment on all these guys. I can remove all this. I'll use this as an example. So, I'll just say results is equals to method, I'm sorry, calculation dot write this, then multiply these two numbers as possible. Yeah, so but let me just pass two numbers since it is method overload, so it can accept as many numbers as possible. So let me just pass two numbers, then you still have two overloads. So then I will say console result equals to results. So I can decide to set a breakpoint here, right? And I will execute this code. So I'll be making use of the step into. So because I've explained the step over in the last debug I did. So in this, so I will this is just the method name here, and we have the full implementation of the method in this calculation class. So I'm only exposing what I want the program class to see, which is just the method name and where the method is coming from. So but for me to be able to see the full implementation, which is this method, multiply number method, I want to see the full implementation of the method, I will have to do this step into. So step into means go into this multiply number method. Let me see the full implementation. Step into means go into it. So if I click on this step into, you will see now we are inside the method. You can see multiply number. So then you can now use step over to now go from one line to another line to another line. You can see, and once the execution of this, once it has complete the this multiplying number method, it will step out for by itself. So if you click on step over, it will actually step out by itself. You can see, and come back to the program class. Then it will come down here and show us the result of whatever we can see result. So that is that for step into. So but for step out, so step into means, I said step into means go into this implementation. Why step over means go to the next line. So if you do, and step out means step out of this full implementation. So if you step into this implementation now, so you are inside the implementation, but you don't want to do, you've already seen what you want to say, okay, this is multiplying by 2, blah, blah, blah. Then you don't want to be doing step over, go to the next line, go to the next line. You just want to step out back immediately. Just use this step out. It will not go to the next line before it executes everything finished. You just step out immediately. So if you click on this step out, step into means go into this full implementation, go into this method. Why step out means step out of this method or step out of this implementation. So if you click on step out, you can see to step out immediately. It won't wait to do all the execution of the method before it step out. So it will just step out immediately, you can see. And then if at any point in time you don't want to use step over, you just want the execution to run, you've seen what you want to see, you can just click on continue. Continue means finish the debug. That's what continue simply means. You can see that's the result. Continue means if you just click on continue here without using step into, step over, step out, if you just click on continue, it will just finish the debug straight or go to the next debug line. So let's say there are two debug line. Let's say there are two debug line. Let me do this. Well, let me just do this. And then this three numbers. So okay, result 2. So let's say you have two breakpoints and then you click on debug and then you don't want to be doing step over, step into, step out. You just want to continue. If you click on this continue, this is the first breakpoint. It will go straight to the next breakpoint. And if there's not any other breakpoint, it will just finish the execution. But if there's another breakpoint, it will go to the next breakpoint. You can see it's on the next breakpoint already. So once it does not see any other breakpoint, it will just finish the debug. You can see that's finished the debug straight. You can see result 1 is this, result 2 is this. So continue means either go to the next breakpoint or you finish the debug mode. So if there's any other breakpoint, go and meet the next breakpoint or you just finish the debug mode. So that's what continue simply means. Instead of going step into, step out, step into, step out, you understand? So let's say at this point you've stepped into this method. So you know this is the multiply number for three numbers. So if you step into it, you can see we are not on the first one, we are on the second one because it's for so let's say at this point you just want to okay, I've seen it entered the third the multiply number with the three parameters. So just continue immediately. Just finish the debug and then you can see here we go. So basically I think I've let me see if there's any other thing I'm missing out. So I've explained step into, step out, step over, step out. So there is well, let's say you are on debug and then but that might not really apply this sha. So another thing, you are on this line now, you've seen the result, you can see okay, some other things I want to explain. So if you look at this bottom left corner here, you can see where this cursor is, you can see you're already seeing um the output under display. You can see the result one. This is the output of result one. So you can see 16 times 16 multiplied by 18 multiplied by 6 is 108. So you already know that, and if you over on this, you see that the result is 108. So you already see what you want. You already see what the result is. So if you over on result 2 is already 432. So you can see the type, the data type. So this is why you have to debug sometimes. So let's say you want to say, okay, why am I getting this result? This is not what I'm supposed to get. Okay, you can now say, okay, on the debug mode it is 108. Okay, it's 108. Result 2 is 108. So let's say where you have a complex method and some complex implementation, and you want to see each line by line what this thing is doing at this particular line. What value is this thing giving me at this particular line? What value is this thing giving me at this particular line? Why am I getting this as the final result? You understand? Let's say you are doing a lot of calculations and every other thing. You want to see each line what the result is giving you. So you can just run it on debug step over line by line and then check the result. So you can see if you over on this, you can already see the result. If you over on this, you can see the results. You can see if you over on this, if you over on this, and you can also see the output on the bottom left corner here. So anytime you step, so if I stop this debug and I do this again, so at this point you see result is 0, result is 0, right? Result is 0 because we are yet to step over it. So once we pass the line, you can see result is now 108. You can see result one is now 108, but result 2 is yet to give us value because we are yet to step over it. So once we step over it, it will also give us value. You can see. So that's how you see and you debug what your code is doing at each line and what value is it giving you at each line. So Yeah, that is that for that. And also you can also, let's say, oh, you wanted to step into this first method now. Wanted to step into it and see how the calculation is being done, and you're already on console.write line, you've passed the line already. You can just use this arrow, click on it, drag it back to where you want to step into. You can see it will take you back, and then you can start the debug back from there again, and then you can step into. You can see, step out. So let's say it is the second line. You're already on this line where it will just finish the debug. You can just drag it back, click on it, and drag it back, and then you can step into. So I feel that is that for that. So that is that for that. I feel I've really covered a lot of things concerning this debug in C sharp. So yeah, if there's any question you do not understand, sorry, if there's anything you do not understand, or if there's any question you have, you can kindly drop them in the comment section. I'll attend to each and every question you have. So guys, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe to Train Check YouTube channel, don't forget to turn on the notification icon so that I can get notified anytime you upload new content. So guys, yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you.